In a recent interview with this newscast, Clayton Newman, a social worker attached to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, bemoaned the sad, unfortunate, and disturbing trend of elderly persons being taken to the hospital to be treated for minor illnesses, and when they are ready to be discharged, their relatives are nowhere to be found. The hospital is appealing to relatives to come and reclaim their abandoned loved ones. Newman explained that the institution has seen a marked increase in patients who have been neglected by their relatives at the Gphc. Most of the abandoned patients were senior citizens and were abandoned in a dehydrated and malnourished state.
And the family would tell you plain when they come to Georgetown Hospital, I don't want them back home, I don't care what you do with them. Just like that.
Newman noted that some members of the public seem to be of the mistaken view that they could neglect their families and the hospital would take care of them. He reminded that for every person neglected at the hospital, the institution is denying a sick person a bed. He reiterated firmly that this practice needs to stop, while issuing a staunch reminder that the hospital will make allowances in the case of homeless patients. However, patients with families should be collected and cared for by their loved ones.
Originally, it should be those street persons. We take care of street persons, not persons with family.
Newman noted that in many instances, the neglected older patients sometimes end up dying of grief because they are alone and abandoned, resulting in the hospital having to manage the funeral and expenses. According to the social worker, when relatives of the patients are contacted by the hospital staff, they pretend to be clueless about the patient. In other instances, relatives would actually call the hospital to inquire about the well-being of the patient they abandoned, but still refuse to collect them. Newton is urging families to contact the Ministry of Human Services to be apprised about the measures that are in place for the elderly or simply contact the Palms Geriatric Institution.
It's not a dumping ground, right? You can take your patient to wherever you want them to be. There are homes for them. There's the Palms Institution. Or you can just call the Ministry of Human Service and find out what are measures in place for the elderly or those that are challenged that you cannot deal with. The hospital is not.
Reporting for AGP Nightly News, Naomi Williams.